Rightio, as per usual, I've started on the passenger side with the top bar there. This one I made up earlier today. Basically all I did was made a template of the chassis on some cardboard and bent this to match. It's pretty close. This bend here a little bit too tight, so I might have to just release that bend a little bit, open it up a bit more, and this one's pretty much spot on, but as you can see the chassis dips down, so I'm going to have to put in another bend there and a bend there just to follow the chassis line. This is the stock that I'm using. It's 4mm, came with the C-notch kit, so I've got 4 of those, two for the top, one each side, and 2 for the bottom, one each side. These bends up here, basically just used my knee and a vise to get those, following the lines on the template there. These 2 curves, this piece I made up for my hydraulic press ages ago, so I've used that, and I did have the matching one of that using the larger 50mm angle iron, but I didn't want to use the bottom one on the 50mm angle iron because it won't give a very nice crease. So I just nipped down to Bunnings, had a bit of this bottom bit, there's a bit of scrap, got some smaller angle iron, and that was how I was able to get a much tighter bend just there. So next one I do will be for the driver's side at the top, and I'll actually show you what I'm doing as I do it. Righto, I'm going to be shaping this piece of the C-notch. I've marked roughly the centre, and I'll mark the direction as well. Basically what I'll do, and with the texter, mark the start of one of the bends, line it up. The start is approximately there. And I'm just going to start bending easing into it, so I don't need to bend it and have to make any corrections later on. Unfortunately I don't have a proper bender or anything like that, so making do with what I've got, which is a bit of a table and some clamps. checking the bend. About there, needs to be bent a bit more. It's just a matter of keep going till I get a nice curved bend. Check it against the radius on my cardboard here. Still needs to go more. I mean, from here to here is good. From about there onwards needs to be a bit. So from here to here is good. From there to there just needs to be a bit more of a bend. As you can see, a bit of a flat part there, so that's where I need to add the bend. Just added a little bit more of a bend there. As you can see, it's pretty close to the line, so the rest of it I'll just bend over my knee and until we get this curve nice and exact. Oh, that's too much. Oh, too much the other way. You can see lines up here, lines up back there, but there is a bit of a curve just there, so I'm going to need to add a bit more of a bend there and probably straighten out somewhere around there. So I'll go back to the vise, get a bit more of an exact bend in it, and should be right. There we have it. The curve perfectly matching the outline of the chassis, and now I just got to do this side, so basically it's a rinse and repeat of what I've done there. And there we have the second bend, pretty much perfect. So all I've got to do now is these two bends here and here. I'll mark the metal and I'll put it in my press, and I'll do those bends next. Here we are. I've bent up both of the top chassis rail pieces. They fit pretty good. Just a little bit of massaging on that one, especially here, as I said, where the chassis dips down a little bit, but I'll tack that in first and then bend that down later. Same on the passenger side, just needs a little bit of massaging at the ends and it's good to go. So I will line them both up and tack them in, and that's the top piece ready to go. I'll give the chassis rails underneath a bit of a clean first, just so it's got nice clean metal to stick to on both sides. Well, everything was going well, tacking the top piece on until I ran out of MIG gas on that weld there. So I will have to shoot down to Bunnings, pick up another bottle of MIG gas and continue doing this tomorrow. And here we have the top piece of the chassis notch tacked in on both sides. It's looking pretty good. Just had to use a little bit of heat just down there to get it to form to the chassis, but apart from that, both of them went in pretty easy and it looks pretty good, I reckon. Not much gap there, easily fixed up when we come to welding the inner boxing piece. So that's no issue there. And now moving on to the front, after I clear all this stuff out of the way so I can get to it. Righto, up to doing a bit of work on the front end. I've put a couple of support bars in there to stop the front of the chassis either springing in or out, so they should be right for now. And first thing I'm going to do, start cutting off these outer two spring mounts. There are rivets in there. I'm not going to mess around this time and drill them out and everything like that, because it makes it really difficult, but I'm going to use a gas axe. Can't be difficult if it's liquid. So here I go, I'll start cutting these bits out. Rightio, here we have the chassis with the cross member removed. I've marked, this is the old center line of the axle. This is going to be the mark for the front face of the new cross member. I've cleaned up the chassis rails, ground them both, so all looking nice and clean. Also bent up these two pieces of 4mm. They'll make up the boxing of the chassis just there. Just need to trim them down a little bit and tack them in, and then I also have to do a bit of work on the new cross member itself. The engineer wants a little bit of reinforcing for where the rack bolts onto the steering rack, bolts onto the cross member. So I think I'll just leave this video here for now, and yeah, next video probably be cutting those, welding them in, and also working on the front cross member and hopefully placing it in the chassis.